was nearly a thank you, Mr. Counsell night at AmFam Field. We'll explain coming up next here at Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
At some point, the games are going to be more magnified than Craig Counsell is in this series. And as we move ahead between the Brewers and Cubs, Craig Counsell is going to become background noise, and we're going to just focus in on the game. And I think we might have taken a step in the right direction Tuesday night, although every move Counsell makes coming out of that dugout, fans continue to just plow into him. Good to have you along here on a Tuesday. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. So technically this is a Wednesday podcast. But hey, you get us on Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads, Locked On Brewers. Wherever you go get your podcasts, wherever you download your podcasts, Locked On Brewers is there. There's so many platforms you can get this right now. We're the number one Brewer podcast on the internet because you great Brewer fans on there. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. I'll alert you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe to me on YouTube. And, of course, go to my Twitter account, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. Cub fans, you're invited there too. Yeah, we've gone back and forth a few times already. You know, Cub fans throwing darts at us and all that. You know, this Wrigley North thing, I think we're past that. It's not Wrigley North. I mean, the Brewers own the Cubs in a few different ways. Okay, just like the Packers own the Bears, the Brewers are starting to do that with the Cubs. Yeah, the Cubs had that World Series championship in 2016, but the Brewers, it is not Wrigley Field North. Yeah, you know, some of you still find your way into the ballpark and all that. But, you know, as I recall, you know, who won game 163 in 2018? Who took the Cubs out of the pennant race last year? That was the Milwaukee Brewers. It is not Wrigley North. AmFam Field is the home of the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't care. I mean, it sure is a lot of people booing Craig Counsell. Although, I'll say this. If Counsell, with Ben Brown pitching a no-hitter, if you had brought him in the eighth inning and took him out middle of the inning while he's pitching a no-hitter, not only would Brewer fans have been booing when he came out of the dugout, but Cub fans would have been booing Counsell for the decision. He did take Brown out after 7 innings. And I was like, oh, my God, hooray. They're taking him out of the game. You know, the old 90 pitch count where you got to start worrying, you got to take him out of the game. I just don't believe in that. I really don't. I'm a firm believer. You know, Freddy went 111 pitches. And now I know Brown is a young guy and all that. Doesn't have a lot of starts. I think the highest he'd gone had maybe 60. I don't know. You go show me in baseball history where a pitcher has been ruined by staying in a game with a no-hitter on the line. I don't get it. And I don't want to hear this BS about the pitch count and all that. If the Cubs would have had a no-hitter, that don't count. If they would have combined with a no-hitter, that wouldn't have counted. Just like the Brewers, Corbin Burns combined no-hitter, that doesn't count for me. Now that's not a no-hitter in my book. In my opinion, Juan Nieves still has the no-hitter, only no-hitter in Brewers history, happening in April of 1987 when I was in college. But that said, Counsell took him out after 7 innings. You know, Counsell was just dying to get Ben Brown out of this game because that's what he was doing. These guys throwing 97, 98. Now, I don't know. It would be tough for me to sleep at night knowing I took a pitcher out of the game in the 7th inning and my bullpen, especially that Leiter fella who's been terrible as of late, would have blown the game for me. I mean, after Frelick got the base hit in the 8th inning against Wisniewski, the Cubs Twitter was already lighting up Counsell. It was great. They were doing the same things on Cubs Twitter that Brewer Twitter had been doing to Counsell for the last 7 years. And they were just lighting him up after Frelick got the base hit. Now, Leiter eventually came on and they got out of the inning. But man, it would have been so great for the Brewers to win that game because, again, you could say that Counsell made the right move, taking his pitcher out of 7 innings. But just to see that backfire on Counsell would have been kind of cool. Because if Cubs Twitter was coming after him in the 8th inning for the Frelick base hit when he took Brown out after 7 innings. Imagine if the Cubs had lost that game again with Leiter again having a bad outing. But it worked out in Counsell's favor. So it was almost a thank you, Mr. Counsell night, where, again, Counsell would have made the pitching change, which he was just dying to do. You know, he was just dying to get that guy out of there, trying to make a pitching change. But it worked out in his favor. And the Cubs, a 1-0 game in the 9th inning, turns out to be a 6-3 Cubs victory. I don't know what the over and under, it must have been 8 or 8.5 or so. But man, if you had the over, you're living large. Let's just double check it. I probably should have checked before starting the show today with you. Oh, the over and under is 8. So if you had the over in this game, you are celebrating tonight because it was 1-0 in the 9th inning, and they ended up scoring 8 runs in the last inning and a half, that being the bottom of the 9th and the 10th inning. If you had the under, you were thinking life was great, and now you're just, you're just destroyed right now because 9 runs were put on the board. But that aside, Brewers did lose the game 6-3. Cubs put up a 5-run 8th inning. Willie Adames, though, bottom of the 9th inning off Neris, tied it up. Again, Willie Adames comes up with a big hit. I still think he was safe at second base, trying to stretch a single and a double with the right play there. Man, that swim move that he did to get into second base, I'm telling you, I think he was safe. I don't think enough was made out of that. And I watched that a few times before doing this podcast tonight. I went back and I went on the DVR. I checked that. To me, go back. He is safe at second base. I don't know what that replay. I don't know if Angel Hernandez is now doing the replays in New York on a permanent basis. If that's where they promoted him, and he wasn't retiring, that he was doing reviews now in the office in New York. But man, he was safe. Adames was safe at second base. Really? How does replay supposed to get it right? That's my take out of this game. Adames safe at second base. And who knows what happens after that. But Willie just coming through, sending it to extra innings and getting the job done. But the Brewers, now their lead down to 3.5 in the division as the Cubs broke a 5-game losing skid with the victory. But Freddy Peralta was fantastic. Freddy was just great. 111 pitches. Even Murph said at the press conference, yeah, he's getting around 100 mark, but that 100 pitch mark, why is it automatically 100? Is 100 a nice round number that magically when a guy gets to 100, oh, we got to worry, we got to get him out of the game? It's 100, it's triple digits. Okay. 100 automatically is the mark. I know there's probably been analytics done on that pitchers lose velocity, but I'll tell you, Freddie was throwing 99. I would like to have seen him get that final out. Didn't. Kenny came in and got the final out in that inning, but man, he was a bulldog. He was a bulldog. The line on Peralta, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run. So he goes into the 6th. Freddie pitched. I think I said 7, 6 innings for Freddie. 6 innings. And yeah, I mean, threw a lot of pitches, struck out 10, 11 guys. What did I say? He struck out 11 guys. Was just great. And give up that 3rd inning home run, but 111 pitches. I'm okay with a guy going out there 111 pitches. Okay. I was like, oh, Freddie, how are you going to bounce back from 111 pitches? The guy was on fire. All right. The guy was motivated and he looked great. Man, he looked like a number 1, as Murphy said after the game. Looked like a number 1. And I've been critical about that. I have. But man, he has sure looked like an ace several times so far this year. Sometimes he's gotten offensive support. Other times, like this one, he didn't. Again, just a shame that the Brewers didn't score enough early on to get the job done, but they made Ben Braun, that offense made Ben Braun look like Sandy Koufax. I thought that was Trevor Lawrence on the hill pitching for the Cubs. I looked at him. I said, man, that guy looks like Trevor Lawrence, the Jacksonville quarterback. No, that was Ben Braun. And it seems like a nice guy, good guy, even though he's with the Cubs. In the locker room afterwards, the post-game interview, just seemed like a good guy. But he's playing for the wrong team. That's the only thing I have against Ben Braun. But Adames, the ninth inning single, would have been great to have that ninth inning magic. But the Brewers did suffer a big loss in this game. We'll talk about that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Stitch Fix is the way to go. Easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with our professional stylist that helps you find new on-trend favorites that'll work with you. I give my stylist my size, my style, budget preferences. I order the boxes, and there they are. They send me 5 just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and pro styling advice. I keep what works and send the rest with everybody else. My stylist always sends just the right pieces. The fit is on point. It's like they have style ESP, because I don't know how they do it, but they seem to have the right piece of clothes for me. And by the way, this Alabama shirt was not a Stitch Fix. This was a gift, but I use it for working out. Got a little workout in today. So excuse the Alabama football. I am not an Alabama football fan. Stitch Fix makes it so very easy. I don't really like to go to shopping, but they save me all the time and effort. Plus, you get outfits that make me look and feel really good. And right now, it's stitchfix.com/MLB. $20 off your purchase when you use that promo code MLB. Style that makes you feel good as you look. Get started today. stitchfix.com/MLB. $20 off your first fix. And again, you must redeem within 7 days of sign up. Once you sign up, to get the $20 off. But I'm telling you, they will put you in the right direction as far as clothes is concerned. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. All right, the Brewers tonight, they went to the bottom of the top of the 10th inning. Trevor MeGill got a line drive off the elbow. Now, Craig Counsell, the good news here, or Craig Counsell, Pat Murphy here said that was my first Freudian slip of the year. How about that? Just so happens to play in the Cubs. Pat Murphy says there was no fracture. And you saw McGill get hit with the pitch. If he did, it was a liner back to the mound. And he got hit with the pitch, didn't make a play on the ball. I mean, he was that much in pain where he couldn't make a play on the ball. I don't know when the last time I've seen that, unless a pitcher was completely got hit in the face or something, but he got hit in the body part and back of the arm. And that, I'm telling you, that must have stung so badly that he did not make a play on the ball and went right out of the game. I have to believe that McGill is headed for the injured list. I'm not guessing, but man, he came out of the game. You could tell the knob on the back of his arm there, and that did not look good. Man, I just hope he's okay. But yeah, and some people said, well, he's got to make a play on that game. I think that ball probably could have hit him in the crazy bone, and it could have been, it came back at 100 miles an hour on the guy. Give him a break there. So the fact that the runner scored from second base on that, and he probably just saw stars. I don't think he was available for the post-game interviews, but I would have to guess he was hit so hard on the back of that arm that it just probably put him out. He probably has never felt the pain like that ever. Imagine that. A ball gets rocketed off the back of your arm. And again, thank God there's no fracture. He's going to have a heck of a bruise. We'll see if it does any muscle damage or whatever. And I'm sure we'll find out tomorrow when the Brewers report, because that's going to be a big loss. If we look at the loss of McGill, because he's been a great closer for them so far. And hopefully it's a speedy recovery. But again, by the looks of it, God, I'd be surprised if it wasn't on injured list. If he's not headed for the injured list on that. But who would close if McGill has to be headed that way? Who would you go with? Uribe is pitching well down at AAA, but he comes up. He's got to serve that suspension. I was checking his ERA tonight. He's got an ERA right around 1. He's pitched 8 innings. He struck out 7. So he's doing well down there, but he's going to have to serve that suspension. I would guess either Payamps or Peguero. Probably Payamps going to be the closer, I would say, if indeed McGill has got to take a trip to the injured list. And this is just yet another injury for this team. Another bullet that they would have to take with one of their players. What is this, 13 players now on the injured list since the beginning of the season? I mean, you've had closer after closer, pitcher after pitcher go down on this team. Starting pitchers, 3 or 4 starters have gone down in that starting rotation. You had Devin Williams go down in spring training with the back. And now Trevor MeGill, who is fitting nicely into that closer's role, was doing a heck of a job in that position. If you lose him, man, it's just another knock on this bullpen. The bullpen has been just so fantastic with those lefties out there, and McGill closing, and Peguero and Payamps, and Milner was awful. Hobie did not get the job done. He came in an emergency, obviously, with McGill out of this game in the top of the 10th inning, and the Cubs just feasted on him. That 1 run scored off of McGill, and then a few other runs, 4 more runs came across. Brewers did put up 2 in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Monasterio did strike out with the tying run on deck. But coming back from a 5-run deficit, even with the courtesy runner, that's a tough ask. But God, I would have rather traded McGill not getting hurt. I would have rather them lost this game in the 9th inning than McGill getting hurt in the 10th, because we need him. I don't want to see anybody getting hurt, but that's a big loss, and I just a crushing blow. I fell for the kid, man. He's fit in so nicely with the Brewers, and to see him get hit with a pitch like that, or hit with a batted ball like that, oh my God! My kid's a pitcher. My 12-year-old's a pitcher, and I thought about that immediately, because he's asked me. He said, "Dad, what if a ball comes flying back?" These kids don't wear any helmets or anything like that, and we're using the metal bats, and some of those rockets come back. So you never know. In a pitcher, boy, when you're up there as a pitcher, you're putting some things on the line up there. So speedy recovery to Trevor MeGill. If he's got to go on the injured list, that's just the way it goes. But I do not. Some people tweeted at me and said, "Hey, how come you didn't make a play on that?" No, I mean, again, the guy probably saw stars once that came back to the mound. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Oliver Dunn, should he be on this team? Who should he really be on this team? We'll get to that. We'll get some of your Twitter's stuff as well. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. The Game Time app, I know some of you have taken advantage of it. A buddy of mine, Mike, went down to the game tonight, got great seats on the third base side in the lower level with the Game Time app. He waited about a half hour before game time. That's one of my favorite features on it. Zone deals save even more when you choose a section. Let Game Time choose the seats. All in pricing. Shows the total upfront, no surprise fees at checkouts, and the seat views, which another thing I like about it, where you click on, let's say it says $33, click it on. Oh, there's going to be my seat. It's a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. And of course, they have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 100% of the discount. So that's what we have here with Game Time. Now, what you need to do is download the Game Time app. You create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Say you want to go to one of these 2 games coming up with the Cubs, or this weekend series of the White Sox. Well, create this Game Time app, create an account, or download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But you got to create the account. So you buy tickets for $70, you get $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And it's just not on sports. They got concerts and theater. They got it all there. I was looking for some Night Ranger tickets the other day. They're going to be in Madison here in a couple of weeks. So looking at that and just seeing what was going on there. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day, and we are coming right back after this timeout. Welcome back to Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman here. final couple of minutes of the show. Oliver Dunn pinch hit for Jackson Chourio late in that game. That was a righty-lefty thing. Oliver Dunn, God bless the kid. Early in the season, he was productive. I talked about going down to the minor leagues and fixing a few things. He was starting to drive the ball to the opposite field. Oliver Dunn right now is not a major league player, in my opinion. Either is Joey Wiemer, who they sent down. Oliver Dunn, same thing. To pinch hit for Jackson Chourio. And Chourio, after the game, sulked a little bit after Oliver Dunn pinch hit for him. Chourio was going to come up, and then Dunn came into the batter's circle and pinch hit for him. And Chourio kind of sulked a little bit and, went back, took his seat. Freddy, the leader he is on this team, Freddy Peralta, had a conversation with Chourio and talked about it in the locker room after the game. Said, hey, you know what? He told Chourio, hang in there. You're a big part of this team. Don't let this get you down. This is just part of it. And, just did a great job. Peralta, one of the leaders. He's a young guy himself, but he's been around a little bit. Peralta becoming a leader on this team, is a leader on this team. And, going up to Counsell or going up to Chourio in that situation, the 18-year-old kid who, again, he's 18 years old. We need to cut him a little bit of break here. Struggling, yes. But, yeah, it was great to see Freddie go up to him and all that. And Chourio's going to be just fine. But Oliver Dunn, I did not – if someone's going to pinch hit for Chourio, Oliver Dunn is not the guy I want pinch hitting for Chourio. I'll take Chourio up there against the right-hander. And Oliver Dunn, barely got the bat off his shoulders. Why did he even go up there with a bat? All right. Brewers Twitter tonight. What'd you all have to say? Oh, and you follow me at Chuck Freeman, F-R-E-I-M-U-N-D. My assumption, says T twice. I said, why is Oliver Dunn getting any playing time? My assumption is both will be sent down once Hoskins and Mitchell are ready to come back. I don't know who he thinks that, and the other one is who says both. But Oliver Dunn is the one I was talking about. He'll be sent down. Oh, Hag says you could throw in Jake Bowers too. No, Bowers is not getting sent down. Made a nice play out in right field. Nice throw to third base. Buck says, why is Oliver Dunn pinch hitting? 1 for 13 is a pinch hitter. A backwards K also. Chase says, my thought, bring up Abner, have him service his suspension, then he can be the closer. Well, eventually they're going to have to bring him up to serve that suspension. They're going to have that happen. He's going to have to sit. And I think, obviously, Uribe is going to be a big part of this team still. I think we're going to see Uribe up here. We need him on. I mean, he's got good stuff. He just has to control things a little bit. Getting in that little tussle before he got sent down was not a good thing. But Abner definitely got a bright future in baseball. Closer right now, no. He's got to learn to get the ball over the plate. But I want him on this team. Rad says that arm looks broken. You could see the huge bump as he walked off. Yeah, I saw the bump on his arm as well. Ian says, what are they smoking in New York? Talking about the replay there. I'm beginning to wonder why Oliver Dunn is getting any playing time, I said. Paul Ford says he's a young man with big dreams. Aren't we all? Brock in SB says Dunn needs to be done. I don't want to pile on Dunn here. A lot of you guys are coming, had a lot to say about Dunn. Sportsnut says bring back Black. Tyler Black, he's talking about. Tyler Black should be brought back, according to Damien, as soon as Hoskins should have been back as soon as Hoskins got hurt. All right. Well, Running Man says, who are you calling up? Who are you calling up? Good question. I'm calling up Black. That's what I'm calling Tyler Black. I'll take him on my roster over Oliver Dunn. Yeah, why is Oliver Dunn on this roster ahead of Tyler Black? That's the guy I'm calling up. All right. And that's going to do it for the show. Again, follow me on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, F-R-E-I-M-U-N-D. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads. Hit me up on YouTube. Search Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Have yourself a great Wednesday, everybody.